Let's get this out of the way. To begin designing a holiday card, you need to go to File and create a new file document. Title this as you always should with any one of the projects that we do, starting with your last name, dot first name, dot project title, which this is going to be our holiday design. You could do dot design or simply just design. That's what I'm going to do for this one. We're going to leave the new document profile custom, as we are going to create a custom document, but really it's just going to be regular letter size. So we'll leave this 8.5 by 11 inches. Make sure that you are in inches and not in points for now. Either orientation would be just fine, whether it is portrait or landscape, and then click OK. So this is our new document in Illustrator. That doesn't mean that anything that you see here is going to show up when we open it in Photoshop, because we haven't actually done anything yet. It's kind of like your paper is going to be transparent once you import it into Photoshop. So here's what we have to do. First, you're going to go and turn on the rulers, because as you see right now, all the way around the edges, there are not any visible rulers. So you click on View, and you go to Rulers, and you want to Show Rulers. So now we have rulers visible. And you can also see as I move my mouse around where the little pointer is, that there is a dotted line on either sides of the rulers, pinpointing exactly where it is. Excuse me. So let's say that you're going to create a holiday card that is, when it's shut, 4 by 5 inches. That is a standard size photo, so that's something that we could go with. Or 4 by 3 or 5 by 7, any one of those. You could even do if you really wanted to, do a card that is 2 inches wide by 8 inches tall. It's up to you. I'm going to start off in the ones position with both. So I'm using both where the rulers are again. And it is kind of tricky. So I'm clicking and I'm dragging. Oh gosh, what am I doing? Right? I guess actually this is a good thing. I did a shape that I didn't mean to do. I actually meant to be in the rectangle. So right now I'm using the ellipse tool. So this is good. Because I made a mistake, I need to locate the control button down on my key. So I'll give you a moment to find that. Press it. While holding control, then push the letter Z, and we will watch the screen. And it undid what I just did. Say you do that too many times and you'd like to go back and redo what you did, you can click on Edit and redo ellipse, or Shift Control Z. All of the hotkeys are right here. See? So I'm going to hit Control Z one more time to get rid of this, because that's not what I wanted. I'm going to click and hold over the ellipse and go to the rectangle tool. Now we're ready. I'm hovering over the ones position, and it looks like I'm in the ones position on both the X and Y rulers. X and Y meaning the X-axis and Y-axis, just like in math. I'm clicking and dragging. Now I want this card to be double the height, because this is going to be the card as if it's open wide. And you can see right where my mouse is right here that it's also telling me how tall my card is, the height and the width. Now I did say I wanted this to be a 4 by 5, so I should make the width 5 inches. Now, if I went only to the 5 on the ruler up top, you can see on the width where my mouse is that it's only 4 inches. I need to keep going to the 6, because remember we started at 1. So this is 5 inches wide, and now I need to double the height, which is 4 inches, because this is the card again, open wide. I need to go to 8 inches. Because that's 4 doubled. So I'm going down, and I could either be using the measurements on the left on the ruler, or I could be watching where my mouse is. And I find it's a little bit easier to line up your mouse with the rulers on top than it is to watch your mouse, because it's just a little bit off. And see, if you can see mine, it's 5.01 inches. You may never get it just perfect. So I'm going to let go. The next thing I want to do is make sure that while this box is selected in blue, that I have the correct things filled. Now, if I wanted this to be filled with a color, I could go and click a color. If I wanted this to be empty, I could click on having it empty or none at all. So I'm actually going to click on none because I don't want it to be imported with anything just yet. No, actually, I'm changed my mind. I want to do the inside of the card first, so I'll have that on white. You actually can't see that right now because it's outside of the view. Well, it's just outside of the view, so you just have to assume that there's a little red X. It looks a lot just like this if you wanted nothing inside. So that's your fill. And then we also have what is called the stroke. So the stroke is what the line color actually would be. So let's say we just wanted the line color to be, I don't know, blue for fun. So it will change to blue or even to red. We can kind of tell that that happened here, but it's so tiny, it's only 1 point. Let's say I wanted it to be a little bit larger just to be visible. There it is. But right now that's not actually what we're doing. We're just creating the template for you to put into Photoshop to edit it to be a card. So let's go back to black. We'll leave it at 1 point. We can make different types of lines here. We want it to be uniform all the way across, and we want it to be a basic mark, which is just a solid line like that. You could change these also later if you wanted to have a border, so you could add this after we're done creating the card itself. So that's all we want to do right there. If you wanted to move the card, let's say you wanted to move individual points around, you could use the direct selection tool, which will allow you to grab individual points like this, and you could grab them. However, we don't really need that right now, so I'll hit Control Z to go back. You could use the black selection tool to, while this is highlighted, that's the only way this works, and grab and move it. Give it a minute to think. There it is. So I'm going to put it just in the center because I feel like that will be the right thing to do. Now, I want to make a line going right across the center here. That will help me later when I have Photoshop. So I've clicked on the line, and I'm going to introduce you to something else. So while I move my mouse, there's something that automatically snaps on, which is this line showing me that this is the middle. While I have my mouse hovering over this and that line is on, I'm going to hold the Shift key, and the Shift key is going to prevent me from making a line that is slightly off like this. So I could try my best, but you can actually see how it's just barely off. So if I hold the Shift key, I'm pushing it now, it's going to snap. When I let it go, it goes back. So I'm holding the Shift key, I'm hovering right over top, I let go of my mouse, and then I let go of Shift. Then we have a line here. This is all you need to do in Illustrator for now. Something that you could do if you'd like is you could start building shapes, basic shapes with any one of these tools if you so wish. However, this is something that you could also do in Photoshop. So this is all we need. You're going to have 2 of these, which making one a template here is enough. If you ever wanted to look back and see what you had, or if you wanted this blue to not be selected anymore, you simply just click off. And if you wanted to edit it again, you just click on it again and it will be blue. If you wanted to see all of them, click this down arrow and you can see the 2 paths that you've created over in the layer panel. So, time to save. We're going to save as. We do want this to be an Adobe Illustrator file, so we're going to leave it that way. We do want this to be Weaver Whitney. However, for some reason, it doesn't say Holiday Design in there. So I have to put it back. I need to save this to the appropriate folder. I'm going to save it to my Google Drive because that's where I save everything for this class. However, I suggest that you go to your student shares and to a folder that you created specifically for this class. So this is in my Google Drive in my graphic design folder, and this is my holiday design template. And I click save. It's automatically going to an Illustrator file. That's perfect. This will pop up. Yes, we do want this to be created how it's already set up. And that's it.